Hey, it's Mark Strigl from Talking Metal and Talking Rock, and here with me on the Skype video cam is Victor Ruiz from Mars Attacks podcast, the Mars Attacks podcast, and also the Ear Peeler website. And we are here to give you just a little 5-6 minute video on what we're listening to, and specifically new releases. It's February, and we're going to kind of zero in on January 2008. Victor, let's start off with you. What releases caught your eyes and ears this past January?
Yeah, there have been a few things. Uh, when I look at a full album that I really enjoyed, I really liked the White Wizard album,
Yeah.
Infernal Overdrive. I think that from start to finish is really strong. I think the band has really progressed, and we talked about it on a previous episode of the Talking Metal podcast,
Yeah.
where they seem to have sort of put an all-star lineup together and sort of taken things in other places where maybe they haven't in the past. So I really enjoyed that.
And I liked what you said on the podcast that we did with Wyatt Anderson was the guest, the vocalist. It's almost like this Deep Purple comparison where it's this hybrid of all the White Wizard lineups, coming together for the new album Inferno Overdrive, which I'm with you. Just a great record. I love that they've taken things a little bit further in the like Maiden Rush
Yeah.
area. I mean, and just, I mean, say what you want about John Leon and everything that he's gone through with personalities in the band and his personality and problems. The guy's bass on the record, not to mention he's just a incredible songwriter, but the guy's bass, it sounds so vicious, and I don't know if he's playing a Rickenbacker, I can't remember, but it is so in your face. It sounds so good, and I'm blown away by his bass playing really on the record. He's such good technique and got that Steve Harris gallop down
Yeah.
just perfect. But really has his own unique sound too. I hear some Geddy Lee in there. I hear some, Chris Squire maybe even, a great player, and he is of course the leader of White Wizard. Infernal
Yeah.
Overdrive is the name of the record, and it's absolutely one of the best, if not the best, release from January, in my opinion. But what else, Victor? What else are you listening to?
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. That to me is the best album that's come out. There have been little bits and pieces here of albums that have had cool songs on it. The new Loudness album had some cool tracks on it.
Yeah, I only
The
saw the
new
music video for that. I haven't gone and listened to the whole record yet. It's good?
Yeah, it's got three really, really good songs on it, and then the rest is pretty good. I don't think they're as good as, say, the single that they released is one of the best tracks off the album. There are also there are things that I also notice in. I believe the lead singer's name is Minori, if I'm not mistaken. There are things that he's done on this album that really reminds me of Graham Bonnet singing for whatever reason, like some of the melodies and things. So I really dug that as well. So if you're a fan of Loudness, I mean, it's definitely something to check out. I listened to
Okay.
the much maligned Machine Head album that a lot of
Yeah, how
people have
is it?
been. Maybe because I'm not a hardcore fan of the band, I don't mind some of the music on it. I know a lot of people, a lot of diehards of, thought about jumping off a bridge all of a sudden because of this album. But I mean, there's a few good things off of it. It's difficult when a band puts out two, three, four really, really good albums, and then everything else is just sort of all right to hit it out of the park every time. So, I mean, I'm not as critical maybe as others with this album. So there are a few tracks that are all right, and the album, in my opinion, is just too long. It's 74 minutes long. Had the album have been, instead of, I think there's 14 tracks on it, had it have been 10, had it have been 8 even, would have been probably a much better album. But there's
And
just so
that's a
much to
problem a lot
digest.
of bands have nowadays, and it's, you know, you have they want to fill up that CD because you can
Yeah,
put what 70 some minutes of music on it, and there's so many albums that I think would have been perfect if they just limited the number, but because
yeah,
CDs are so much longer than like vinyl used to be, or even a cassette, it's like people end up just putting on tracks that really drag the album down. Yeah.
yeah. And it's to me, it's the set list argument as well. If you're not going to play some of these songs live, why even bother releasing them? I mean, I know they're doing like a 3-hour show now for this tour. All right, so they're going to be playing a lot of their hits with like a storyteller type thing and adding tracks off of this. But I mean, it's kind of unrealistic to play 14 tracks off of this. I mean, if you play 3 songs or 4 songs, I think you're maxing it out with that, because it really isn't much more. And I'm not saying the album sucks. I mean, I'm sure there are diehards out there that love this as well. But I mean, it's an okay album. It's not great, and it doesn't suck. The other thing, I mean, I've checked out quite a few things. I checked out the new Fu Manchu. I checked out the new Avatar. The one song that's really stuck out that I've listened to these last few weeks is off of Mike LePond's Silent Assassins album. There's a track called Black Legend. It's just got this riff in it that's just so cool. And I don't know, it's just one of those tracks that just sticks in my head just thanks to the riff. So the album as well, very solid. But this track just has something to it that I really like.
Yeah, the two records. I mean, you stole both of them from me. The two that I were gonna hype are White Wizard, Infernal Overdrive, and Mike LePond's Silent Assassins release, which is Pawn and Prophecy. Black Legend is great. Another track that stands out to me is Masters of the Hall. Avengers of Eden, and then there's this like flamenco style type of song, the Mulberry, which it seems like it would be out of character for this record, but it fits in really, really well. This is, you know, an album that's not on a major label and independent release, and it's maybe, you know, not as a little under the radar for some people. It's definitely, if you're a fan of traditional metal, yes, Alan Tecchio of Hades, Nonfiction, Watchtower, Autumn Hour fame, and then you have, of course, Mike LePond from Symphony X. Michael Romeo from Symphony X is also on this record. This is a great metal record done the way, you know, traditional metal should sound. It's really worth picking up. Mike LePond's second Silent Assassins release. Again, Alan Tecchio returning on vocals. Returning on this record with the vocals is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, definitely check that out. Yeah, those are the two that stood out for me. Any other ones you want to quickly mention before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to look over real quick my iTunes here. The only other thing that really jumps out at me right away is are the 2 new Priest tracks that have come out.
Yeah,
you've heard the album. Yep. If those 2 songs are any gauge of what we're in for, I mean, by far it's going to be one of the. To me, it sounds better than anything they've released since Halford has come back to the band.
Right. I will say this, on episode 730 of Talking Metal, I will give a detailed review of the record, and I will mention my favorite songs off the record. I will talk about how the different songs sound, and the 2 songs that have been released so far are definitely strong tracks, but in my humble opinion, some of the other tracks are even stronger on this record.
Wow.
A lot stronger. And yeah, so if you want a really detailed review and walk through the new Judas Priest record, check out Talking Metal episode 730. It'll probably be posted right around the same time I'm posting this video of Victor and I talking. I mean, the cool thing too is, like, nowadays I'm constantly discovering older music that I totally missed. I mean, there's so much new music coming out. There was a band, a stoner rock band I just discovered yesterday, I think called Red Desert. They had a release like from 2011, 2012, and it was just phenomenally good. And I only just discovered it. And then today, when I was working out earlier today, I had on the Spotify radio, which just changes stuff up and throws random stuff at you. And this band Voyager came on with a song off their Ghost Mile record, which was released in May 2017. Never heard of these guys. They got a kind of progressive thing, but there's also elements of like a Perfect Circle and even Devin Townsend Project and Rush, and I mean, I even thought maybe a little Duran Duran in there.
Wow.
And I tell you, I was listening to this record again. I had no clue. It was totally off my radar. Never heard of them before. Voyager, Ghost Mile. The record was released in May 2017. I just discovered them earlier today, and it was brilliant stuff. So always do yourself a favor, guys, and search out the good music. Victor and I are going to hopefully continue these videos where we will update you on stuff that is jumping out to us. I mean, maybe we'll do these once a month, maybe even more frequent than that, Victor, depending on how they go. But this is kind of a new experiment here. You can catch me on Talking Metal, the podcast, also talkingmetal.com, talkingrock.net. You can catch Victor also on talkingrock.net, writing some great articles, reviews, news items, and your many podcasts. What do you got going? You got Galaxy of Geeks.
Yeah, Galaxy of Geeks, Mars Attacks, Fusion Sonica, Victor M. Ruiz podcast, and the No Metal Cred podcast. So
5 podcasts. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So check out all those podcasts, and also, of course, the Ear Peeler website. We won't do this every episode, Victor, but real quick, I know you got to run because you got something coming up, but just a quick rundown of what Ear Peeler is.
Sure. Ear Peeler is just a place to go to check out and find out about podcasts, find out about gear, find out about music-related things, where your favorite artists are being interviewed. Maybe you're into. You just mentioned you were checking out stoner bands on Spotify. If you want to check out what stoner bands are being interviewed, you could go to the category section of the site, click on stoner, and anyone like John Garcia was interviewed the other day by his site. You can check out his interview. Or
that's great. I'm going to do that actually. That's cool.
Yeah. So I set it up so that if you're a fan of a certain type of music, you can listen to artists from a certain genre of music. It's always easier to check out new shows, or by finding artists that you like, or if you like talking metal, you like hard rock, you like metal, go to the metal drop down or hard rock drop down. You'll find shows that may have certain similarities to talking metal or other shows of the same style.
Cool. Earpeeler.com, right, Victor?
Yes, sir.
And also talkingrock.net. Please visit that frequently. You can use our Amazon links there that help support what we do on this show and every other show. And I don't even know what we're calling this show, Victor. We got to come up with an official name for this show. So think about that, and we will check you guys out next time. Thanks, Victor.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Cool. All right, man.